So this video might be a little bit of a long one, as I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my experiences with A-levels and how I got through it, and give you maybe a little bit of advice. So grab yourself a cup of tea and sit comfortably, and hopefully this will be of some help to those of you who have no clue what to expect from A-levels, because God knows I didn't. A-levels, I feel like the only analogy that you can use to describe it is being thrown to the sharks. You literally have no idea what the hell you're doing. You've come out of GCSEs and you've got this head on you thinking, wow, I did so great in my GCSEs, they were so easy, didn't even have to revise. And you don't revise for A-levels and basically first year kind of tanks a little bit, as was the case with me and a lot of other people in my year. Now of course some of you will probably be a lot smarter than me and will revise and do really well in your exams. However, I know that the majority of my year group didn't do this and were in exactly the same position as me when results day came around on AS. We all got a pretty big kick up the backside and it basically taught us that we actually need to work hard. I'm going to talk about my first year and second year separately because I feel like they are completely different experiences and you're in completely different frames of mind in both years, especially for me, and I don't think they can really be compared. Basically in AS you've already got this cocky head on and you don't want to revise and you don't feel like you need to revise necessarily. Oh my god, revise! Like please, if there's one bit of advice I can give you for AS, it is to definitely work twice as hard as you would in A2, because the way my course was set out was that AS and A2 grades combined to get your final grades. I know that your year group is changing. I'm not sure exactly how, I just know that you're going to have big exams at the end of A2 instead of having like an exam at the end of AS, an exam at the end of A2. It's going to be a little bit different, but I really wasn't told enough about it to be able to tell you about that, so I don't want to tell you the wrong things necessarily. AS, I think you concentrate a lot more on establishing yourself in groups and friendships, especially if you're going to a college that's like outside of your town and you're not going to like a sixth form from your secondary school and you're not going to stay within those secondary school groups, because that's what I did. I didn't go to a sixth form, I didn't go with where all of my friends went. I went to a completely different college with one friend from school and had to make new friends, which is what I always wanted to do anyway. I like change, I like to move on. Coincidentally, I am not friends with any of those people from secondary school anymore because you change so much in these 2 years. From 16 to 18, you change so much and I can't stress that enough. You don't just mature, you actually change in personality, you change in what you're looking for in a friend, or your interests change and your mind is just broadened to all these new things, and like it's just an amazing time really, because like when I think about who I was in secondary school compared to who I am now, I am completely different, and that's all because of my experience in college and the people that I met. Although making friends and trying to like build those friendships up took away from my focus on work a little bit, it totally made up for it in the end because I changed into a better person. I feel like I'm a better person. I'm surrounded by much better friends who support and love me and tell me I'm great all the time, which is an added bonus, and you know, it's just great, and it's a huge part of college as well. So I think you really shouldn't disregard making new friends and prioritize work over that, maybe, because you're going to be happier in yourself. Trust me, you're going to need them to keep you sane in A2 because it gets crazy in A2. AS is definitely about establishing friendships, but also do work hard. I know you probably won't want to work hard and you won't feel like you need to work hard, but oh my god, work hard. There was an A2 student in my first year class. She was resitting that subject and she would constantly tell us horror stories about A2 and say like, oh my god, you're going to be under so much pressure and it's so difficult, and we were like, yeah, but you know, we're gonna be fine. Yeah, I don't believe you. Pfft, it's great, I've got this, no sweat. No, you get to A2 and literally within the first term I was like having breakdowns. I cannot tell you how many breakdowns I had over the course of A2. Like, oh, it was just awful. And I mean, my whole college experience was amazing and I want to go back. I'm so sad to have left, but honestly, like the relief you feel when you finish your exams at the end of A2 and you don't have to go into that building ever again is just incredible, because all the stress just comes off you straight away and you forget what you were ever anxious about. Now, I was never a very anxious person. I had social anxiety, and to an extent I still do, but that's another thing about college. It does make you a lot more confident, I feel. People aren't as judgy in college, people don't really care, you just kind of do your own thing and you find yourself, and people respect you for it, because at the end of the day, by the time you leave, you're all adults. So there's really no petty bullying, or there wasn't in my college anyway. You come out of it a lot more confident, but the anxiety that I felt during A2 was definitely not social related. It was purely over the workload and the stress, and there's a lot more expected of you. The workload is hugely different to AS, and you kind of just get a sense of, right, if I don't knuckle down and do this, I'm not going to pass. And I'm not going to get to university, or I'm not going to get the job that I want, or, you know, it's definitely the expectation of what you're going to do after A-levels that really puts the stress on, because you feel like you have to live up to a certain standard, or you have to prove yourself to people, and that's definitely what adds to the stress as well as the workload. In terms of self-care, I'd say just take breaks, because I made a revision timetable. I'd leave the house at 7:30 in the morning for the bus. I wouldn't get back until 5 o'clock at night. I'd then have an hour to eat my tea, and then literally from 6 o'clock to 9 I'd be revising non-stop, one subject every night. And then on top of that all, I had a part-time job at the weekend as well. You might need to make money for university, God knows I do, but I wouldn't suggest having a job doing A-levels. I had to drop one of my shifts and give up good dollar because I was so stressed from A-levels. So if you can avoid getting a job and you don't desperately need one, I wouldn't add that stress onto yourself. I really wouldn't. About the revision timetable, don't put too much work on you. Of course it's important to revise, but it's also important to give yourself breaks and just take some time to just, you know, have some you time and do something that you enjoy other than doing revision. Catch up on the TV show that you're missing, or read a book. A book is a great way to take study breaks, because your brain is still engaged and you're still kind of, you're like taking things in and analysing things, and it does help when you have to go back to revise after that, more than maybe having a television break. But yeah, whatever makes you happy, do it. In terms of eating in college, in terms of my college, the food in my college was 100 times better than the food in secondary school. Oh my god, they don't compare. Like, it was so good, and as a result, over 2 years of like binging on chocolate and crisps from the little convenience store we had. Yes, we had a store completely dedicated to crisps and chocolate. Like, it's amazing, but at the same time I put on so much weight in that time, and also it kind of makes you really lethargic, I think, when you eat too much, and you know, you're not really left in the mindset to learn. So I feel like if you have a healthier lifestyle maybe, and drink plenty of water, eat vegetables and blah blah blah, then your brain will definitely be a lot more engaged with the work you're going to do, especially in exam season. If I were you, I'd completely disregard that whole point, because if I was watching a video like this, I wouldn't choose to eat healthy. I want to eat crisps and chocolate and drink Coke. Screw broccoli. But yeah, I guess it's a good thing. I guess you could take it on board if you're committed to that, and yeah, but I'm not. I think if I could say one last thing, it's that it definitely didn't feel as unified in college as it did in secondary school. When I left secondary school, I cried for about 2 days, and I said bye to everyone, and everyone was kind of like hugging each other, and it was a really nice moment on the last day. I feel like that's very different in college, because you're older and you don't feel as much pressure to fit in with people as you do in secondary school. You literally just form a group of friends, a little bubble, and you pretty much stay inside that bubble, and you don't really branch off, and you don't really form meaningful relationships outside of your little group, I'd say. Because you're just not there long enough to do so. I mean, you're in secondary school for 5 years of your life. You kind of have to get to know these people. You don't really have a choice. But in terms of college, you're only there for 2 years, and you don't see half the people because you only do 4 subjects. I knew every single person's name in my year at secondary, and I knew pretty much everything about their personalities, but I guess I just pay attention. But in college, there was literally some people that I went through the entire 2 years with, and we had, like, our sixth form was so small, we only had one corridor, but I still didn't know their names, and I didn't know anything about them, and I'd never spoken to them before in my life, and that was such a weird feeling. So on the last day, we just kind of finished our last exam, and we all just went our separate ways. We all just said bye to our friends and teachers, and then just left. And there's some people that even I spoke to over the 2 years that I haven't even said bye to yet. And it was just such a weird thing, and definitely something that I wasn't used to. I'm a very sentimental person, I'm a very emotional person, and to not be able to say bye and like hug people was quite upsetting to me. That upset me more than actually leaving, to be honest. You know, I guess that's something that you need to prepare yourself for, is that you're not going to be as attached to these people as you were to the people in secondary school. As long as you keep your friends close and stay in touch with the people that you meet in college, because I can 100% guarantee that they will be really great people, and just your friendships will be so much more meaningful because you don't have to impress people. You're just friends with them because you want to be friends with them and because you like them. In summary, revise. Oh my god, revise. Be prepared for a little bit of stress or a lot of stress. Take it all in your stride and don't take it for granted, because there are so many people that aren't lucky enough to do A-levels and get the qualifications that you're getting. Also, it goes so fast. Like, it sounds like a cliche, but it flies over. The 2 years flies over compared to the amount of time you've spent in education in the past, like 6 years of primary and then 5 years of secondary. This is just 2 small years of your life. But definitely take it in your stride and enjoy it while you can, despite all the stress and the anxiety and the worry and whatever. Honestly, all that will be worth it as long as you tried hard and you did your best. All of it will be worth it in the end, regardless of what results you get. And you'll all go to uni and you'll all have a great life. Yeah, at least that's what I'm hoping for. I'm gonna get D's again, aren't I? I hope this helped in some way to prepare you for A-levels. I didn't watch a video like this before I started A-levels. The only person I had to advise me on it was my mum, and she got like E's and F's in A-levels, so I'm not a very reliable source. I'm definitely in the same position as you in terms of preparing for uni. I have no idea what to expect, so if you have any suggestions of videos that I can watch by other YouTubers that have done something like this, or just general advice for uni if you're at uni, then please pass it on in the comments section, because I'm terrified. If you have any questions on A-levels, feel free to tweet me or leave a comment below and I will reply to every single one of them, I promise you, with some half decent advice. Hope you all have a wonderful summer. There will be a lot more videos coming up because obviously I have a lot more time and I can actually put some effort into them instead of revising. And I'd like to say well done to all of you for getting through your exams. I know you'll all have done absolutely amazing and you should be really proud of yourself getting this far and doing it. How good is it when you finish your exams? Like, oh my god, such a good feeling. Yes, enjoy this brief time of relaxation you have before it all starts again in September. Why do we do this to ourselves? Thank you very much for watching and I will see you next week. Bye!